What is cognitive behavioral therapy? Cognitive behavioral therapy is an aim-orientated, short-time period form of talking remedy that facilitates individuals identify and accurate harmful thought patterns that can cause situations, which includes melancholy, tension, and a number of different psychological problems. There are two important components to cognitive behavioral remedy. The cognitive thing is involved with someone's mind, mainly how they evaluate and interpret the matters that appear to them and how these perceptions have an effect on their feelings and behaviors. The behavioral issue is involved with someone's movements and how their behaviors may affect their feelings and impact their existence. CBT is a combined technique, and both additives do now not always get same emphasis. Depending at the hassle handy, one thing is probably emphasized over the alternative. For instance, the cognitive thing can be emphasized in treating despair due to the fact despair in particular involves someone's thoughts and feelings. On the other hand, the behavioral component might also play a larger role in treating obsessive-compulsive disorder due to the fact this disorder offers with repeated actions. The goal of CBT is to replace unfavorable idea patterns with positive ones. A secondary objective is to present customers the skills had to deal with future conditions on their personal with the intention to continue to be mentally healthful. Despite the fact that CBT is a sort of communicate remedy, it have to no longer be burdened with other psychotherapies, which encompass a more in-depth exploration of one's lifestyles in early life. In contrast, CBT is involved particularly with the character's state of thoughts these days. It looks at an person's modern-day problems and seeks to enhance their modern-day country of mind. In a few cases, it is probably essential to review beyond incidents that might have motivated a customer's present-day nation of thoughts. However, this isn't the principal cognizance of CBT. Is that this a new form of therapy? The basis of cognitive therapy, the concept that a person's feelings are associated with their interpretation of a state of affairs in preference to the nature of the situation itself, can hint its roots to historic Western and Eastern philosophies. Behavioral therapy, which ambitions to alternate unhelpful or dangerous behaviors, become advanced based at the findings of classical conditioning and desensitization. Combining the two regions into cognitive behavioral remedy have become a mainstream technique within the 1960s and was pioneered by way of Dr. Aaron T. Beck. It gained popularity in the 1980s and has taken off, considering the fact that then. Nowadays it's far increasingly the first course of movement encouraged on the NHS to sufferers laid low with despair or anxiety. What conditions can cognitive behavioral therapy treat? Cognitive behavioral remedy is taken into consideration and powerful remedy for the following disorders: depression, tension issues, including social anxiety and generalized tension, panic problems, bipolar disorder, personality issues, ingesting problems, along with binge ingesting and bulimia, substance abuse, consisting of smoking, alcohol, and other drugs, sleep issues, phobias, obsessive-compulsive ailment, put up annoying stress sickness. Similarly, CBT can assist alleviate issues inclusive of insomnia, dating problems, intimacy troubles, anxious conduct together with pores and skin choosing, tics, and hair pulling, persistent ache, psychosis. What does cognitive behavioral therapy entail? At some stage in the first consultation, a cognitive behavioral therapist works with the client to reach a knowledge of what problems the person is dealing with. Once the consumer's goals and priorities were definitely diagnosed, the CBT therapist will increase a plan and provide the patron a timeline for remedy. The therapist will also investigate whether the consumer is a great candidate for this type of remedy and make certain that she or he feels at ease with the whole thing that the therapy includes. The first part of cognitive behavioral therapy is figuring out concept styles and assessing their helpfulness and validity. Someone who is affected by despair might constantly suppose they may be worthless, whereas someone with panic disease would possibly continuously suppose they are in danger. Those individuals without a doubt consider their thoughts. In CBT, The therapist will undertaking these thoughts and assist the patron see them for the irrational ideals that they really are. The therapist might ask the purchaser to suppose of these thoughts as hypotheses rather than facts, after which the therapist and customer will work together to check these hypotheses. If they're determined to be unfaithful, new notion patterns can be advanced. Computerized thoughts. Automatic mind are a core thing of CBT. Those are the on-the-spot mind that input a person's thoughts when an incident takes vicinity, and they without delay impact his or her emotional and behavioral reactions to the incident. Someone's reaction to the sound in their window starting in the middle of the night may be used to demonstrate the concept of automatic mind. Right here are 4 specific computerized thoughts and behaviors that can shape a person's reaction to the state of affairs. Person A assumes the window is being opened by an outsider who's coming to rob and homicide him. He's going to sense apprehensive and try to arm himself or break out as quick as possible. Person B automatically assumes it's for her boyfriend letting himself in for a midnight rendezvous. She is happy about the window opening and responds with exhilaration. Character C assumes it is simply his roommate, who frequently locks himself out of the house and forgets the keys. He is aggravated and indignant together with his absent-minded roommate and in the end berates him. Individual D believes that extraterrestrial beings should be coming to carry him to some other planet. He feels anxious and powerless and might remain in mattress paralyzed through worry. As you could see, the scenario is the same in all of these examples. It's Miles the man or woman's interpretation of it that consequences in his or her reaction. Thinking errors. A few human beings' computerized thoughts are unhelpfully negative and not based totally on the truth of a state of affairs. Those are referred to as thinking mistakes. A number of the most common styles of wondering errors are disqualifying the fantastic. This entails constantly disregarding precise matters that take place or downplaying their importance on the way to keep onto and reaffirm a terrible perception. Overgeneralizing. An person takes the bad final results of a one-off incident to heart and acts as even though future incidents will yield the identical unpleasant result, even if evidence is offered to the contrary. Intellectual filter. This includes fixating on the negatives of a scenario, however minor they is probably, and inflating their significance. Something accurate or high-quality elements are absolutely brushed aside in favor of residing on the negatives. All or nothing questioning. An individual sees each situation in black and white. If he doesn't win first location, he is an entire failure even supposing he came in second. If a girl resists his advances, he must be unsightly and is destined to die on my own. Personalizing. This takes place when someone believes that everything that takes place is his fault, even though he had nothing to do with the state of affairs or only performed a minor role. Unreal ideal. An person is continuously comparing herself to someone else and always arising quick because the opposite character normally has a specific gain in the region in question. She is making an unfair comparison at her own cost. Mind studying. This happens whilst someone believes that any other individual's movements are primarily based on negative emotions toward her or him. As an instance, thinking that a pal didn't go back her telephone call because he hates her, or being convinced that the group of people talking any other language close by are talking badly approximately her look. Streams of poor automated mind and routine thinking errors are common in people affected by issues along with tension and melancholy. Those human beings regularly have bad perspectives of the sector, themselves, or the future. Frequently, people are not privy to the automated thoughts that take location and subconsciously govern their behaviors. CBT allows human beings recognize and compare their automatic minds so that it will apprehend why they reacted to a situation inside the way that they did. CBT therapists then help customers uncover and question any patterns of misguided or distorted automatic thoughts that cause them to react to situations in unwanted methods and embark at the venture of replacing those defective computerized thoughts with more sensible and balanced ones. This, in flip, ends in a more suitable and balanced reaction in destiny interactions. CBT techniques. CBT typically entails several of the following strategies. Recording thoughts. folks who are present process CBT are regularly requested to hold a magazine of the thoughts that enter their mind in the course of conditions that encourage sturdy feelings. In some cases, the therapist will provide a worksheet with labeled columns that want to be filled out. The purchaser and therapist will then assessment the worksheet collectively to search for patterns in the person's thoughts and find healthier methods of thinking and reacting. Behavioral experiments. Those experiments supply clients a chance to test out their beliefs to discover if they may be accurate or now not. For example, a socially annoying girl who thinks all people will snicker at her if she makes a mistake might be asked to spill her handbag on the subway on reason. This not most effective allows her to look what number of human beings sincerely would and how many humans truly do snigger at her. However, it also serves as a thread for her to peer how nicely she can deal with this situation. This kind of experiment is simplest used after coping strategies for any viable consequences have been installed location and the patron and therapist each feel the purchaser is prepared to try it out. Role-playing, position-playing sporting activities permit the therapist to demonstrate suitable responses to tough situations. Both the purchaser and the therapist adopt roles so that you can give the customer a realistic example of an effective interplay. The customer will then be capable of version his or her behavior accordingly and apply it to future interactions. Rest strategies. The therapist will train the customer some strategies that may be used to help relax throughout distressing or tension-inducing conditions. As an instance, she would possibly exhibit slow muscle relaxation or guide the consumer via deep respiration exercises. Meditation is likewise sometimes used to assist customers loosen up. The consumer have to normally exercise these strategies at domestic and will then be prepared to hire them to correctly manipulate bodily responses to scary situations, which includes panic assaults, after they in the end strike. Testing assumptions. This approach involves testing a person's firm belief by searching out exceptions that make his or her tough and rapid rule untrue. For example, someone who is satisfied she will by no means find a husband because she is uninteresting and impossible to love might be requested to name buddies and circle of relatives individuals who appear to experience her organization or care about her. This indicates her that her perception is irrational and offers her a place to begin for a greater balanced belief. She will be able to see a few evidence that demonstrates she actually is lovable and a laugh and begin to take into account it could now not be possible to find a mate sooner or later. Extra components is probably hired relying on the unique trouble being dealt with. As an instance, exposure therapy is probably used as a part of CBT for the ones affected by a specific phobia. Because heading off fears can frequently make them stronger, the concept is to show the client to something triggers his fear to help him overcome it. Consequently, a person who is fearful of spiders is probably gradually exposed to them over a time period, growing the extent of exposure to help the purchaser construct sensitivity to spiders till being around them no longer triggers a response of fear or panic. What are the advantages of cognitive behavioral remedy? It really works in an exceptionally brief period of time. It teaches clients competencies that can be used to control thoughts and behaviors in regular lifestyles even after remedy has ended. It can be simply as effective as medication for treating positive disorders. It's far a bendy therapy that can be tailored to healthy every person's specific needs. It facilitates people discover ways to view conditions in a practical manner that is much less possibly to cause bad feelings than their preceding patterns of thought. It's far based totally on the purchaser's dreams. It may be used to help a spread of human beings irrespective of culture, religion, gender, age, or socioeconomic reputation. It's far primarily based at the universal legal guidelines of human behavior and is therefore perfect to many people. How powerful is cognitive behavioral remedy? Hundreds of clinical trials have confirmed the efficacy of CBT in treating an expansion of disorders. It is considered one of the only remedies for situations regarding anxiety and/or despair. The effectiveness of CBT can be attributed to the following traits. It is purpose-oriented and problem-focused. It teaches clients strategies and skills that have been demonstrated to be effective. It's far noticeably dependent. It emphasizes a sturdy courting between the customer and the therapist. How lengthy does it take for CBT to paintings? An average route of cognitive behavioral remedy will entail weekly periods over a time period of around 2 months. But, the precise number of periods can range depending on the man or woman. While a few human beings sense better after as low as 6 weeks, others might preserve going to remedy for 6 months or greater. Some humans may choose to have preservation sessions sometimes according to year or every few years after the initial treatment has ended to make sure they are on the right tune and cope with any new issues which have arisen. Others find that they've mastered the competencies they learned and are capable of practice them to the point that future visits are no longer required. A number of the elements that affect the duration of treatment are: the person desires of the purchaser, how lengthy the problem has been given, the severity of the issues confronted, the frequency of classes, the length of every consultation, the progress made by way of the customer out of doors of the therapist's office. What are challenges and obstacles of cognitive behavioral therapy? Despite the fact that many humans efficiently deal with a number of psychological troubles with cognitive behavioral therapy, this type of remedy isn't always for all people, nor will it paintings in each unmarried case. Here is a examine among the capability challenges and barriers of CBT. It calls for the purchaser to do some paintings. The therapist acts just like a private instructor might act at a gym. He or she will advocate and encourage the customer, however the patron should be inclined to do his or her component to see consequences. This method doesn't shape everybody, and some humans may opt for other psychotherapies that have a more flexible structure. It does not paintings overnight. A regular dedication to regular appointments over the course of some months is usually required with cognitive behavioral therapy. It commonly works speedy, however individuals who are looking ahead to immediate results may sense discouraged. It requires a few motivation at the part of the consumer. Going to ordinary sessions and doing the specified homework do take some motivation at the part of the patron. That is something many depressed human beings war with. Therapists are prepared to address this, but the customer must muster a choice to observe through if he desires to see effects. For some humans this could sense like an excessive amount of stress and consequently, now not the satisfactory technique. Other psychotherapy techniques, that have an extra bendy structure, can also sense greater suitable to such clients. There might be uncomfortable moments. Usually speaking, CBT flourishes on an effective courting among the therapist and purchaser. However, there is probably instances where a person has to step outdoor of his or her consolation region so one can confront problems including phobias or anxiety. This is always completed in a managed manner and with the final intention of assisting to repair the trouble. How does it examine to opportunity treatments? Cognitive behavioral therapy compares favorably to other remedies for anxiety and melancholy, which include medicinal drug and different kinds of psychotherapy. A few research have proven CBT to be as effective as antidepressants for certain types of despair, and there are symptoms that it would paintings higher than remedy in terms of preventing a relapse of despair. It may also be used alongside remedy to enhance the probability of a success treatment and deliver clients coping mechanisms that can be used after preventing the medicine. Due to the fact CBT is chiefly involved with the right here and now, folks who are coping with issues that have an aspect which is likewise associated with reports in advance in lifestyles, might glean higher results from other psychotherapy tactics. How to find a cognitive behavioral therapist. Cognitive behavioral therapy can be carried out for my part or in a set setting. Many human beings decide upon the only on one attention they get hold of in man or woman remedy periods. Different humans like the camaraderie of institution therapy. There are self-assist books, websites, and software programs that may manual someone via the stairs concerned in CBT on their personal, but seeing a therapist can make certain that a person's treatment is tailored to his or her unique wishes. Because the therapy profits popularity, increasingly more coverage groups are overlaying treatment with CBT. Mindfulness-based cognitive remedy, MBCT, takes the tested method of examining the relationships among thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that makes cognitive therapy so powerful and adds every other element, mindfulness. It combines these two tactics to help you train your thoughts to be with mind and emotions in a way that will increase peace of mind and personal well-being. MBCT was at first designed to save you recurring bouts of depression. But, it may also be useful with different situations. What conditions can MBCT help with? Strain reduction, depression, tension problems, panic issues, bipolar disorders, insomnia, persistent fatigue syndrome, persistent pain or infection management. What are the blessings of mindfulness-based totally therapy? Discover ways to rework terrible questioning patterns into more nice ones. Discover the way to allow your thoughts flow without turning into connected to worry or worry thinking. Learn the way respiratory techniques can reduce pressure and tension in the frame and convey peace of mind. Find out how meditation strategies let you manipulate physical and emotional ache higher. Learn how meditation strategies can help convey higher clarity for your thoughts, boom attention levels and allow you to attention and address troubles with greater ease and inner self-belief. What's mindfulness? Mindfulness way intentionally and consciously paying eager interest to the existing moment without letting judgment get in the manner. This will increase our attractiveness and consciousness of our gift truth. What does it imply to take note? The idea of being conscious might sound clearly summary, but it's simply a easy idea. One manner to wrap your thoughts round its miles, to use a driving analogy. Whilst you are driving on autopilot, you're going through the motions of using without setting plenty thought into it. You aren't possibly toward the little matters that pop up alongside the way, and your mind wanders effortlessly. In our daily lives, lots of us are cruising through on autopilot as opposed to being greater present inside the moment. Mindfulness helps us tune into our gift emotions and thoughts and makes us less vulnerable to falling into the intellectual ruts that result in depressive or traumatic thoughts. It's a treasured ability that also can carry extra readability to your questioning, which permits you to awareness and gain your desires with much less stress and extra ease and internal contentment. Examples of mindfulness. While going for a stroll, awareness to your surroundings in place of getting misplaced in idea internal your head. Take note of the feeling of motion to your legs and feet as you walk. Look at your respiration and the texture of the air to your skin. Listen for the rustling of leaves or the chirping of birds and forestall to smell the flowers. Other mind may attempt to interfere, but push them back and actively recognition in your surroundings. When washing the dishes, don't run through your mental to-do listing or think about your troubles. Rather, recognition on the heady scent of the cleaning soap, the size of the bubbles, and the temperature of the water. Song into the smoothness of the plates and the feeling of the bubbles popping in your skin. While the above practices can effortlessly sound simplistic or maybe futile of their nature, their cause is to help you find out a way to educate your mind in the art of being present. This practice, over the years, permits you to keep away from the pitfalls of poor wondering, which could cause pressure, depression, and anxiety. How does MBCT work? Mindfulness-based totally cognitive therapy is usually done through both individual remedy classes or extra normally in 8-week guides. You're taught incorporations the practice of meditation and concept management. There's also a homework element that involves meditating and practicing the strategies learned. Many humans document a great development after around 8 weeks of this sort of remedy. When you feeling concerned or burdened, would you say your thoughts are normally positive or poor? In case you like the majority, bad mind run rampant and you might feel that you have hassle controlling them. A few individuals who suffer from anxiety or depression say they may shut off their mind. Often, it's truly those mind instead of the specific incident or state of affairs that is inflicting the anxiety or melancholy in the first location. What are wandering errors or cognitive distortions? Questioning mistakes are faulty patterns of thinking that are self-defeating. They occur whilst the stuff you are thinking do no longer match up with fact. This is every so often additionally known as cognitive distortions. Folks who commit wandering errors regularly don't comprehend they may be doing so. Why is it so essential to recognize wandering errors? Human beings with anxiety and low vanity are vulnerable to getting caught in an infinite loop of poor thinking. It is vital to take inventory of your mind because the cycle they spur can end up becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. For instance, someone who thinks that human beings don't like her or him would possibly begin to have bodily signs and symptoms inclusive of sweating at the very concept of being immersed in a social situation. As a result, the person avoids parties and different gatherings, which makes him or her feel left out and eventually causes more bad mind, which includes something must be wrong with me. The cycle then maintains, leaving the person feeling depressed or traumatic. If the initial idea is handled appropriately, the whole cycle of negativity that follows it is able to be averted. The diagram under suggests how the questioning error cycle may want to get precipitated after a person is invited to a celebration, whilst the day of the celebration arrives. Cognitive distortion (CBT). Examples of thinking mistakes and how CBT can assist. Cognitive behavioral therapy allow you to realize while you are thinking distorted thoughts. It teaches you how to query those minds so they may be not allowed to trigger a cycle of negativity, and it enables you update the one's thoughts with greater balanced approaches of questioning. Those thinking mistakes may be robust conduct that you interact in subconsciously, and a cognitive behavioral therapist allow you to deal with unique problems and give you the equipment had to alternate your thoughts for the better. Right here are some examples of commonplace thinking errors and the way CBT questioning can assist counteract them. All or not anything thinking. You're constantly questioning of factors in intense phrases, together with continually and by no means. In case you do something in a way that is less than perfect, you automatically finish which you are a failure. Examples. If you get 85 in line with cent correct on a take a look at, you think you're a whole failure due to the fact you ignored 15 in step with center. In case you don't appear like a version, you decide you're simply ugly. You re-exceeded up for a promoting at work, so that you suppose which means the enterprise is making plans to make you redundant. Answers. Try to locate the in among. Remind yourself that there is often a wide spectrum of results among absolute perfection and entire catastrophe. Only a few situations are simply all or nothing. In case you are taking into consideration something in phrases of never or continually, can you suspect of an exception? In that case, meaning it's not truly by no means or continually. Ask yourself. Is it honestly that horrific or am I being severe? What different approaches are there of searching at this situation? Intellectual filter out. This happens while you awareness on the poor aspects of a scenario and disregard the positives. You might be presented with some of statistics assisting a fantastic outcome, but you reside best at the negative parts, even if there aren't very many, and inflate their importance. Example. Your presentation become well acquired by means of your superiors at work, but you observed a typo in one of the slides. Rather than enjoying the compliments your boss gave you, you only considering the typo and waiting for to get terminated quickly for paying negative attention to detail. Answers. Awareness at the concrete information. In the instance above, your boss stated you probably did a wonderful task. That's a concrete reality. Don't waste time thinking about the unknowns. The possibility of you getting sacked is an unknown. Try to rewrite the hassle or scenario as though you have been telling it to a sensitive toddler. Most effective include the tremendous components of the tale. Then study it when you feeling overly demanding. Ask yourself. What are the positives in this case? Try and cognizance on them greater. Fortune telling. Fortune telling falls below the category of leaping to conclusions. It takes place whilst you are so convinced that something will turn out badly that you are certain it is a foregone conclusion and there's nothing you may say or do to trade the outcome. Examples. If I observe for this task, they will giggle at me and toss my CV. If I ask this lady out, she will definitely turn me down. Solutions. Ask yourself. How do you comprehend it will turn out this way? What data do you have got that show this terrible final results will unavoidably arise? How do you advantage from attaining this end? What's going to happen to you if you retain questioning this way? Mind reading. Whilst you think you understand a person's intentions or thoughts, you are carrying out a questioning error called thought studying. You assume people are focusing to your flaws and accept as true with that someone is reacting negatively to you, despite the fact that their reaction would possibly have nothing to do with you at all. Examples. My pal didn't solution the telephone. She should be trying to avoid me due to the fact I annoy her. My son's teacher should assume I am stupid because I forgot to sign his permission slip. Answers. Ask yourself. How do that? Does assuming something make it true? Despite the fact that the conclusions reached from thought studying are often wrong, it's far nonetheless helpful to try to let go of your need for approval and take delivery of that you may please each person all of the time. Overgeneralizing. This happens when you take an remote incident and challenge it to make wide generalizations. A one-time unpleasant prevalence is regarded as a signal of what is going to manifest each time you in a similar state of affairs, in preference to the isolated incident that it truly is. Examples. Your spouse were given mad due to the fact you spilled wine at the carpet. You start to think, he's mad at me. He continually receives mad at me. That probably method he hates me and wants to divorce me. I have to be the worst wife inside the international. You failed your using check on the first strive. You inform yourself you'll never get your license and you'll be caught driving the bus for the rest of your existence. Answers. Try to consider instances to your life while a specific bad state of affairs did no longer grow to be being a sign of factors to come back or have a long-term outcome. Ask yourself. Simply because this came about once, does that virtually suggest that it's going to happen each time, or are different consequences also feasible? Disqualifying the high quality. If you are continuously disregarding good matters that take place or fine things people say, you're making this questioning blunders. Disqualifying the fantastic often entails saying something high quality that happens to you doesn't remember or isn't critical. Examples. A pal compliments your hair. Making a decision she isn't always saying it as it's genuine, however, rather due to the fact she wants something from you or is simply being polite. Answers. Make a listing of your effective attributes and accomplishments. Attempt to be given compliments when human beings deliver them to you with a simple thank you. Ask yourself. If that doesn't be counted, what does count number? Who comes to a decision what counts and what doesn't? Why do you suspect good matters can take place to you? Personalization. The personalization wondering mistakes entails seeing yourself because the cause of the whole lot bad, despite the fact that you aren't the one responsible. This frequently ends in feelings of disgrace and guilt. Examples. My daughter didn't make the soccer group. I am positive it's because I didn't exercise sufficient along with her. My husband hit me due to the fact I am a horrific spouse. Solutions. Ask yourself. How do you already know that? Within the examples above, how do your daughter didn't make the football group because of you? Did the train say so? How do you recognize you're a horrific spouse? Assignment yourself to find out simply how a good deal duty you can simply have for what passed off. Attempt to consider external factors that could have also contributed to the state of affairs. Do you suffer from thinking errors? In case you realize yourself whilst looking at these concept styles, don't be troubled. Recognizing cognitive distortions is the first step toward correcting them. The traces of thinking mentioned here can be useful when you having a bad second, but a CBT therapist assists you to mission and improve your idea patterns. The use of an individualized technique. Tension disorders can seriously affect your first rate of lifestyles. If you fear nonstop, have obsessive mind or panic attacks, or suffer from a debilitating phobia, you might be one of the many folks who be afflicted by an anxiety disorder. Although this prognosis might sound traumatic, it can be helpful to pick out the trouble so you can then take the essential steps to begin playing your life once more. Cognitive behavioral remedy is notably effective in supporting people triumph over tension issues. Learning the way to cope. People who be afflicted by anxiety disorders regularly turn to psychotherapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, may be in particular effective for those problems. Medicine would possibly alleviate the symptoms quickly, however CBT allow you to understand the purpose of the hassle and educate you the way to manipulate your mind and address your fears. Therapy can discover the underlying reasons of your concerns and then assist you spot those situations in a brand new manner that doesn't bring about anxiety. A number of the issues that cognitive behavioral remedy can help with encompass: social anxiety disease, generalized tension disorder, panic disease, phobias. What number of periods are wanted? Therapists will tailor CBT to cope with your character's situation, and the length of treatment will range relying on the kind and severity of your tension. If the tension is slight to slight, then many humans notice massive development after 8 to 12 periods. If the tension is greater, intense and observed by means of symptoms of despair and difficult social or family conditions, many human beings may also find 12 sessions can provide some development. However, 24 classes or greater will permit them to reap extra strong and lasting development. How does CBT paintings? Because the call implies, CBT makes use of essential components to bring about a discount in tension degrees. The cognitive factor of cognitive behavioral remedy includes searching at how poor mind make contributions in your anxiety, whilst the behavioral issue involves searching at your reactions in such conditions. The concept is to trade your notion of conditions as a way to yield extra powerful behaviors and superb feelings. CBT targets to equip you with actionable answers to offer issues. It does not address troubles from your past in any intensity, so therefore is not the nice therapy for running with troubles including trauma or abuse. Different treatments may be more powerful in these regions. What are you able to anticipate whilst you meet your therapist? During the first session, you and your therapist will probably work together to reach in knowledge of what your troubles are and why they are complicated. You'll discover the thoughts, emotions, and attitudes that arise at some stage in your everyday existence. You may then speak your treatment plan and how long you could expect it to take to make a difference. Your therapist will assist you to perceive your unrealistic thought patterns, damage them down, and spot them in a new, greater advantageous light. This frequently entails doing homework in between classes as you cross about your life and come upon diverse situations that cause your tension. As an instance, a lady is irritating approximately going to a party. She identifies her worry that no one will talk to her and she or he will emerge as standing round alone looking awkward. CBT can assist her assignment those mind by asking questions such as: how probably is it that no person will communicate to her? Did a person she is aware of invite her to the birthday celebration? If nobody talks to her, can she provoke a conversation with someone? Perhaps she will be able to plan to praise the hostess domestic to start up a communication. Is it surely possible that she can become status alone within the center of the room at the same time as all people factors at her and laughs? How regularly does that genuinely take place in actual lifestyles? If she doesn't experience the party, can she just cross home early? There are lots of approaches to mission your negative mind and examine situations in an extra realistic light. Some therapists will use workbooks or journals that will help you break down these thoughts, and it is usually a very enlightening workout. In what other approaches is CBT beneficial? By means of present process a success direction of CBT for anxiety, you find out it also teaches you coping mechanisms that can be implemented to other situations. Possibly you're searching for remedy for social tension, so getting to know two accurate bad thoughts and ideals on this place becomes a talent that you could use later if you want to cope with a tough individual at work. As an instance, you'll understand a way to check the chance of a difficult character having any bad effect for your life if you rise up for yourself. You will additionally be able to keep any negative worry afterthoughts to a minimum, whilst you stroll far away from the situation, having addressed it, with a self-respecting assured response. In case you are plagued with obsessive thoughts or uncontrollable tension, don't be afraid to are trying to find help. Turning to psychotherapy isn't always a signal of weak point, it is definitely step one to gaining power and taking manage over your emotions. Panic attacks, how can cognitive behavioral therapy assist? Posted December 1, 2014. Panic assault CBT. It befell again. 1 minute you had been seeking to nod off, and the following component you knew, you have been sitting up immediately for your bed struggling to catch your breath. You started out to pace, spread out a window, lay down, and sat returned up again, however nothing regarded to help. As your heart pounded swiftly, your anxiety grew to the point which you wondered if this became the quit for you. Approximately 20 minutes later, but, you were still alive and capable of see the incident for what it truly changed into, any other panic assault. There are few things in existence which can be extra horrifying than experiencing a panic attack. This is probably something you may dismiss if it takes place once or twice, however if you be afflicted by ordinary panic assaults, you need to discover a precise solution so that you can take manage of your existence and no longer live in fear over when the next attack will occur. One manner that a whole lot of people are correctly coping with panic attacks is through turning to cognitive behavioral therapy. What's a panic attack? A panic attack is a surprising surge of excessive signs and symptoms that would include some of the following. Physical signs and symptoms. Coronary heart palpitations. Sweating. Shaking or trembling. Chest pains. Feeling lightheaded or dizzy. Hot or bloodless flashes. Mental symptoms. A surprising spike in tension, with or without motive. Feeling detached out of your surroundings. And severe worry of going loopy or demise. The assault can be brought about with the aid of a specific situation or it could strike instantly, and it typically lasts somewhere within the range of 5 to 20 minutes. At some point of the panic assault, your mind perceives a hazard, which reasons your frame to enter fight or flight mode. Your body attempts to take in more oxygen, which could purpose rapid breathing. Further, hormones which include adrenaline are launched, ensuing in a speedy heartbeat. Panic assaults are very scary after they occur, and although they're no longer typically physically dangerous, a few people report feeling like they are going to die when they may be within the throes of a panic attack. As an end result, some sufferers are afraid to depart the house out of worry that an attack may strike in public. What is cognitive behavioral therapy? Cognitive behavioral remedy, or CBT, is a sort of treatment that examines the relationships among mind, emotions, and behaviors and allows human beings find positive patterns of thinking that result in beliefs or moves that are unfavorable. CBT does now not entail limitless hours of mendacity on a settee and telling a therapist approximately your adolescence. Alternatively, it's miles an aim-oriented remedy that specializes in a particular trouble. It's also an active intervention within the experience that sufferers are anticipated to exercise the skills they learn outdoor of the therapist's office. How can CBT assist with panic assaults? Despite the fact that panic attacks appear themselves physically, they're a chiefly mental issue, and getting to the basis of the difficulty is the first-rate way to preserve panic attacks at bay. A CBT therapist can observe the idea patterns that trigger or maintain a panic assault and help sufferers reframe their fears and anxieties in a greater realistic light. Treating panic assaults with cognitive behavioral therapy commonly entails a frank evaluation of the subsequent additives. Your mind leading as much as a panic assault. The way you react while an assault happens. The mind that run through your mind at some stage in the assault itself. Your therapist will help you replace negative idea styles with extra balanced ones which might be much less possibly to trigger panic assaults. Plenty of its fulfillment as a treatment for panic assaults lies inside the truth that CBT teaches human beings useful thought management skills that may be implemented to the conditions they come across in each day existence. Your therapist can also recommend respiration strategies and different coping mechanisms that may alleviate the symptoms when a panic attack does strike. How effective is it? CBT is believed to be one of the best mental remedies for panic attacks. Although no single treatment works for everyone, its excessive fulfillment rate makes it a notable starting point for maximum people. The country-wide Institute for Fitness and Care Excellence, GRATE, indicates among 7 and 14 hours of CBT over a duration of 4 months on average. However, your therapist can recommend a timescale that is appropriate for the severity of your trouble. The following time a panic attack units in, try to remind yourself that you are not in danger and that the feeling will bypass. In case you need to minimize the frequency and severity of destiny panic attacks, discuss with a therapist who specializes in cognitive behavioral remedy.